morning, Dolphins fans. It's your boy Dillon, and just hours away from our very first preseason game of the season, I'm here with you to bring you the last bit of news and notes, pertaining to the team and obviously today's game, things to look forward to, things to watch, stuff like that. So, starting off with this first article, it's by CBS Sports. Topics of discussion heading into Dolphins preseason opener. The Miami Dolphins kick off preseason football Thursday night. One thing everyone wants to know is what should we be looking for from quarterback Ryan Tannehill. Other topics of discussion surrounding the team include the new look defense, the 2018 rookie class, and the battle for who will be Miami's kicker. And that's all this article says. Okay, so really short one there. Moving on then. Let's see. This one comes from Dolphins Wire, and it's Dolphins cornerback Tavez Calhoun ready for a big opportunity in preseason opener. One of the deepest units on the Dolphins roster is their defensive back group, in particular at cornerback. But there has been a surprising player that has turned some heads during this year's training camp. Tavez Calhoun, who joined the Dolphins practice squad last December, has 2 interceptions and a forced fumble and a fumble recovery for a touchdown through the 11 days of training camp. And as we all know, Torrey McTyer has actually moved his way up into, the competition for that second cornerback spot opposite Xavier Howard. He's up in there in the mix with Tony Lippett and Cordray Tankersley. Now, during Thursday night's preseason opener against the Buccaneers, Calhoun will get an opportunity to show the Dolphins coaches he deserves a spot on their roster. I'm very excited, man. Anytime you can step on an NFL field, it is a blessing, Calhoun said after Tuesday's practice. I don't take that lightly, so I'm very excited. Excited to be out there playing football against a different opponent. Calhoun was undrafted coming out of Mississippi State in 2016 after he finished his senior season with 39 tackles, 6.5 tackles for loss, 2 interceptions, and 10 pass breakups. The Bears signed him shortly after the 2016 draft, but he was released during final cuts. From there, the Saints signed Calhoun shortly after he was released by the Bears. The Saints would later promote Calhoun to their active roster before the team waived him last September. With Calhoun performing so well during training camp, he could see extended playing time against the Buccaneers, with Tony Lippett suffering an ankle injury during Tuesday's practice. I think Lippett will be alright though, but I'm not sure. He may be sidelined for this game. Who knows? Right now, Calhoun is behind Xavier Howard, Torrey McTyer, and Lippett on the Dolphins' first preseason depth chart. While some players might put a lot of pressure on themselves to perform well, Calhoun said he is just going to do the things that have gotten him to this point. I'm going to just go out there and play football, Calhoun said. I don't want to put too much pressure on myself. Just go out there and have fun and use what I've been working on during training camp and OTAs, and I will be fine. Yeah, I think it's great, though, that we do have tons of depth at the cornerback position. You can never have enough good ones, so I'm happy about that. I think our secondary is going to be elite. Okay, so here's an article from, looks like CBS, another CBS article. Car enthusiast Raekwon McMillan is ready to finally play his first NFL season. When you think about American muscle cars, a 69 Chevy Camaro is somewhere near the top of the list. It is a classic design, yet a force to be reckoned with. Underneath the hood is just as impressive as the exterior frame, and you can say the same about Miami Dolphins second-year linebacker and car enthusiast Raekwon McMillan. I feel like old-school muscle cars are just different, McMillan said. It's not what the modern guy would think I would get. A football player. They think about exotic cars, the most expensive car in the lot. It doesn't look like it, but there's a lot of muscle in this car. It's a 69 Z28 Camaro, he said. I'd love to take it for a spin, but this ain't mine, so I'm not going to do all that. McMillan actually owns one of those, but the one he's describing belongs to the Barn Miami, a boutique dealership owned by Gaston Rosado. Here at the Barn, we believe in diversity, Rosado said. From Ferraris to Impalas to a few rare Alfa Romeos, Raekwon was a kid in a candy store. But while this was a nice break from football, his focus is squarely living up to the expectations of a career that failed to launch his rookie season when he tore his ACL in his first preseason appearance. I kind of knew to myself something was really messed up on the inside, but after I got confirmation from the docs, I told myself to stay calm because I got family in the stands, McMillan said. I didn't want them going crazy. I didn't tell them until the doc told me the next day it was cool to let your family know. A difficult journey was ahead of him, but McMillan wasn't alone. His journey of recovery from a devastating knee injury was shared with his quarterback, Ryan Tannehill. We had the same exact surgery on the same day and got back to rehab together at the same time. And also Tony Lippett was with us as well, McMillan said. We were all grinding during the offseason. For Tannehill, it was his second year going through an injury, and he pushed me to things beyond measure. With injuries behind him, McMillan is singing a different tune when it's just him and his ride. I like to play a little Tupac, a little Biggie, he said. I'm an old school cat. I like to chill and vibe out. He wouldn't dish out how many tackles he'd like to collect in his first full season, but he does have his eye on adding a few more cars to his personal collection. Okay, well, there you go. You get a little bit of an insight into who McMillan is. Now, we all know he's a car enthusiast. And we can all hope that, one, he stays healthy and doesn't get hurt in his first preseason game of his second year. That would just be absolutely fucking shitty. So, knock on wood, send some prayers up, do whatever it is you do, Dolphins. Let's make sure that hopefully, that man stays healthy so that way he can produce for us this year. I think he's really going to do a lot. So, let's move on to this next one. It's from Dolphins Wire. All eyes will be on the Dolphins quarterbacks during preseason opener. Ryan Tannehill is scheduled to make his long-awaited return to the football field in Thursday's preseason opener against the Buccaneers, but he's not the quarterback most will focus on at Hard Rock Stadium. While Tannehill's return is a big deal, the competition for his backup is just as important as David Fales and Brock Osweiler will have been battling it out through the summer with neither guy having a clear edge. But according to head coach Adam Gase, the competition will come down to which quarterback is better during the 4 preseason games. I want each guy to get into a little bit of a rhythm, Gase said during his press conference on Tuesday. We're trying to figure out how we want to do it for this game. We've had a couple between Dow Loggins and Bo Hardegree and myself, a couple of discussions of how we want to handle this. We just want to make sure that we give both of these guys legit opportunities to where you want to say on paperwork an equal amount of time with each group. Fales hasn't been spectacular during training camp, but he hasn't been downright awful at times like Osweiler has. During the first 11 days of training camp, Osweiler has thrown a total of 6 interceptions. However, Osweiler was one of the few bright spots during Saturday's scrimmage as he completed all 7 of his passes, which included a touchdown pass to Drew Morgan. Despite his turnovers, Osweiler believes he has had a tremendous camp. While Gase didn't echo those sentiments, he was not surprised Osweiler has that much confidence in himself. He's a positive guy, Gase said. I think Brock does a good job of focusing on what he's trying to do. He has a purpose for every day at practice. I think this is what I almost forgot about him, is that he does go out there with a purpose. That's next level type things. A lot of times, a lot of guys just go out there, here's the period, and I've run the play that the coach called. I think he's got a different mindset sometimes. Ryan is kind of in that area too. He's going out there to work on things. Plays might not go a certain way. I know there were 2 or 3 things today that they talked about before they went out there that came up that they were able to work on. To me, Brock is saying that because he has a good feel for the offense. If something happens to Tannehill this season, the Dolphins need a player who they can be certain won't lose them games. Man, I'm sorry, these motherfuckers don't know how to write sometimes. I swear, they don't know how to fucking put, full sentences together. They just, miss words and shit. They just, I don't know. It's crazy. I apologize if I stumble reading this stuff sometimes. A lot of it has to do with the fact that these motherfuckers don't know how to write for shit. Anyway, neither Fales or Osweiler are going to be the modern-day Frank Reich or anything, but the Dolphins believe both players are an upgrade from longtime backup Matt Moore, who the team decided not to re-sign after the 2017 season. Having an adequate backup quarterback is vital for the Dolphins. The battle for the backup role will begin to really heat up on Thursday night. As you've heard me say before, I believe it's going to be David Fales. We'll have to wait and see. Tonight's going to be great, though. I can't wait for the game. I am super excited. All right, next one from Dolphins Wire. Dolphins tight end Mike Gesicki looking to earn trust of coaching staff. Everyone knows Mike Gesicki can catch. He has demonstrated throughout training camp, most notably during red zone drills, but his blocking ability hasn't been as impressive. During 11-on-11 drills in Tuesday's practice, Gesicki failed to recognize Minkah Fitzpatrick blitzing as he sped past the tight end for a would-be sack on Ryan Tannehill. Gesicki knows he still has work to do in the blocking area as he is looking to earn the trust of his coaching staff. Know your assignment, know your role, be accountable, and just go out and make plays when it's your time, Gesicki told reporters after practice. When the ball is in the air, go make a play. When it's your block, go make the block, whatever it is. If I'm running down on kickoff, if I'm on kickoff return, if I'm on the wing on a field goal, or if I have to go catch a touchdown. Whatever it is, if you want to earn trust in people, you have to go out and do the right things. Gesicki has been the Dolphins' best rookie during training camp, and it hasn't even been close. During practices, he has skied over defenders, including over Fitzpatrick. But his blocking was his concern during the 2018 NFL Draft and still is during the first 3 weeks into training camp. But when asked about Gesicki's blocking, it didn't seem like head coach Gase is concerned. I think it comes down to putting all the reps that they get in practice together, plus the preseason games, Gase said. Really, you want to start off with, do they know what to do? Are they trying to use the right technique? Then at the end of the day, can you do it or not? I think that's where our adjustments have to come in as coaches, to where if a guy can't do a certain thing, let's not ask him to do something that he's going to really have problems with. Really, that's where we're at as a coaching staff of keep evaluating. We might start crossing things off the list eventually. I think we want to get into games more before we do that, though. Gesicki should get a lot of playing time during their preseason opener against the Buccaneers on Thursday night. After practicing against his teammates for the last 3 weeks, Gesicki says he is ready to play in his first NFL game at Hard Rock Stadium. It's exciting, Gesicki said. It's something that I've been working for and waiting for a long time. You're just going into it and just know that you're prepared and know that you're ready for this moment and you've been working for a long time. I'm just going in there relaxed, go out on the first snap and take a breath and just go out and play. Yeah, so we've talked about him a lot. I mean, I think he's going to be great. He's going to be a huge help on third down in the red zone. He's going to be a big-time pass catcher for us. He's going to stretch the defense, open the middle of the field, catch up down the seam, blah, 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 all that good stuff. I think he is going to improve in his blocking. He definitely is willing, and has the frame and stuff for it. So I'm not too worried. I think he'll get there. It's just going to take time, repetition, experience in games, being able to recognize defenses and when they're blitzing, stuff like that. So it'll come. All right, here's one from Pro Football Talk. Ryan Tannehill returns to game action 606 days later. Much has been said in recent days about the looming return of Colts quarterback Andrew Luck, who last played football 585 days ago. It's been even longer for Dolphins quarterback Ryan Tannehill. As noted by Armando Salguero of the Miami Herald, Tannehill last played on December 11, 2016, a full 606 days ago. A full Zebco reel 606 days ago. I don't even know what that means. The streak ends tonight when Tannehill, according to Salguero, starts the preseason opener against the Buccaneers. As one source said to Salguero regarding the prospect of Tannehill starting, why wouldn't he? I feel like I did before everything happened, so I feel good, Tannehill said, according to Salguero. What happened was a left knee injury on a low hit from then Cardinals defensive lineman Calais Campbell, which left Tannehill with an MCL injury and a slightly torn ACL. The team opted against reconstruction of the ACL, which doesn't heal on its own, and then, last August 3rd, Tannehill tore the ACL without contact during a training camp practice. He's returning with a brace on the knee. I wouldn't say it limits me, Tannehill said, according to Salguero. It's a bit cumbersome, but it doesn't limit me from doing anything. I ran in the offseason with it, did all the drills with it and everything, so you get used to it and it becomes like second nature. The Dolphins hope it's second nature for Tannehill to play quarterback again. He played very well in 2016, and the team quietly expected that he'd break through to the proverbial next level last year. Fans remain skeptical about the 2012 top 10 draft pick, who has yet to become what he was expected to be. This very well could be the year that it finally happens for Tannehill. I am not at all concerned. Tannehill's got what it takes, and he's gonna thrive this year. All right, Here's one from Dolphins Wire. Dolphins preseason week 1 preview versus Bucks. Here we go. So Tampa Bay Buccaneers at Miami Dolphins. Kickoff is Thursday, August 9th at 7 p.m. Eastern. So that's 4 p.m. for those of us on the West Coast, from Hard Rock Stadium at Miami Gardens, Florida. After a long off-season, football is finally back. Well, sort of. The Miami Dolphins will kick off their preseason as they will host the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at Hard Rock Stadium on Thursday night. Fans in attendance will see the return of Ryan Tannehill, who hasn't played a game since December 11, 2016. Tannehill has missed the last 21 months due to a couple of ACL injuries. In 2016, Tannehill missed the Dolphins' last 4 games of that season because of an ACL sprain. Then last year during training camp, Tannehill completely tore the ACL in the same knee as he was lost for the entire 2017 season. Don't expect Tannehill to play a lot on Thursday night, probably a series or maybe 2 if the Dolphins were to have a quick 3 and out on their first offensive drive of the game. With Tannehill expected to see limited action, fans will see a lot of backup quarterbacks Brock Osweiler and David Fales. Osweiler and Fales are competing for the opportunity to back up Tannehill this season. On the Dolphins' first depth chart of the preseason, both Osweiler and Fales are listed as Tannehill's primary backup. Linebacker Raekwon McMillan, who like Tannehill also suffered a season-ending injury, should also see some playing time on Thursday night. During the Dolphins' first preseason game against the Falcons last year, McMillan tore his ACL while playing on special teams. Many fans will be paying close attention to second-round draft pick tight end Mike Gesicki. During training camp, Gesicki has made many jaw-dropping catches during red zone drills. Now he will have an opportunity to make some in an actual NFL game. Injuries: center Jake Brendel calf, defensive end William Hayes hamstring, cornerback Tony Lippett ankle, and tight end AJ Derby foot. I don't know. I don't know if I actually saw a official injury report. I don't even know if they do them for preseason games at this point. I don't know. But those are the injuries, so if anybody's sitting out, it'll be those guys. Here's an article from the Phins. Dolphins roster no longer top-heavy. What a difference one offseason can make. At this time last year, many Miami Dolphins fans were vehemently debating what the team should do with wide receiver Jarvis Landry and lamenting defensive tackle Ndamukong Suh's nosebleed salary cap number. Today, Landry is a member of the Cleveland Browns, and Suh is at least partially responsible for fellow defensive tackle Aaron Donald's contract holdout with the Los Angeles Rams. Recognizing that no interior defensive lineman, even if he's one of the top 2 players at his position in the game, should be the highest paid player on your team, the Dolphins acquired Rams defensive end Robert Quinn, who has replaced Suh as Miami's best paid player. With a 2018 cap number of $11.4 million, Quinn is still going to make about $3 million less than Suh, who also took a hefty pay cut to join the Rams. Is 2 years younger and figures to give the team more sacks as a proven outside pass rusher. The single biggest reason why the Miami Dolphins have not been a major threat to the rest of the league since Hall of Fame quarterback Dan Marino retired is largely the same reason they didn't win much when Marino was playing. The team has repeatedly committed the cardinal sin of trying to use a few great players to cover up a lot of bad players. There was a time in the National Football League when a top-flight quarterback could win a title almost by himself. Unfortunately, that era ended 10 or 15 years before Marino arrived in Miami in 1983. Since Marino retired after 1999, the Dolphins have faced the double-barreled issue of not having a franchise quarterback, while also having too many average players on the team. Mercifully, this appears to be finally coming to an end. Rather than having 1 or 2 players that their opposition can line up to stop, forcing Miami to use other guys who aren't up to the task, the Dolphins seem to have finally moved into the 21st century from a strategic standpoint. Generally speaking, the topics which tend to create the most controversy and debate are those in which more than one argument can be considered valid. Case in point, Landry. Those who say that Landry's production can be gotten from other players are right, yet others who point out that if Miami had any other players who could do for them what Jarvis did, those guys would have been contributing more to the offense the past few years are also right. For whatever reason, when Landry was on the team, defenses would sit back and let him catch the ball, then immediately tackle him for a short gain, knowing that eventually a drive-killing sack or penalty would probably come their way. I, for one, am very pleased that Landry is gone. Not because he wasn't a good player, but because he wasn't the class guy that Cameron Wake, Ryan Tannehill, and to some extent even Sue was to justify paying him the kind of salary he wanted. There comes a time when you have to decide who is going to comprise the nucleus of your football team, and the Dolphins front office decided that they didn't want Landry as part of that nucleus. All you have to do is listen to his expletive-laced tirade with the Browns this week to confirm that Tannenbaum, Gase, and Greer made the right choice there. Teams have to let good players leave and continue to win without them all of the time. That's life in the NFL, folks. Today, the Dolphins are younger, cheaper, faster, more athletic, and in more than 40 years following this team, I can't remember a time when they've made more moves that I approved of. As always, my mantra is, well-coached players on offense, stud athletes on defense. And as most of you know, I'm here to champion defensive football because defensive football wins championships. The Dolphins have gotten serious about upgrading that side of the ball the past couple of years, and I think Gase deserves a lot of credit for it. For a head coach who comes from an offensive background, that takes guts. It also demonstrates that he intends to be the coach of the Dolphins for quite a while. Best of all, the team is no longer being held hostage by bad contracts and can replace underperforming players each offseason as they see fit without having to dump salaries. It's an exciting time to be a Dolphins fan, which is why, despite living in Chicago, I've actually been able to wear a cap with the team's logo on it for the first time in many a year. 10 wins this season, guys. Write it down. 12 plus. Write that down. Yeah. Alright, let's see. I'm going to check Dolphins.com, see if there's anything there. Okay, yep. Let's see. We have an AC in the AM. Andy Cohen. 10 things I want to see tonight. The Dolphins have spent the past few weeks going up against themselves. Now they get a chance, or a change of scenery, a chance to gauge the progress they have made as individuals and as a team tonight against the Tampa Bay Bucs at Hard Rock Stadium. While I don't expect the starters to get significant playing time, perhaps just a cameo appearance for some, I do expect that we'll begin to see some clarity in some of the closest position battles as well as the competition for the final 53-man roster and 10-man practice squad. First preseason games always carry with them a degree of suspense. We have seen some of these young players excel on the practice field, but we have yet to see them in real game situations. We know what we think they can do, but sometimes when the lights are bright and the stage becomes bigger, the results aren't always the same. There are currently 90 players on this roster. There are a whole lot of decisions to make, some of them agonizing before cut-down date. Beginning tonight against the Bucs, we'll start seeing signs of who belongs and who may not make it throughout the summer. It's a critical time for a lot of players, mostly young players, who are advised to treat this game as if it means everything because for some of them it will. The final score hardly matters. What does matter is seeing progress. Here are 10 things I'm most looking forward to seeing. 1. A brief look at Ryan Tannehill. If he plays, it won't be for long, maybe a series or two, so you may want to wait before rushing to the concession stand. My thought is that Tannehill needs to play the equivalent of one full game in the preseason, and he'll get the majority of that in the second and third games. After missing so much time with a knee injury, it is important for Tannehill to regain that game feel. Tonight could very well start the process. Number 2, and behind Tannehill. We really don't know at this precise moment whether it will be Brock Osweiler or David Fales, since both have spent time with the second team during training camp practices. This undoubtedly will come down to preseason performances, and both figure to play quite a bit. Former Jet Bryce Petty is also in the mix, but listed behind them. I expect we won't have to wait long for one to emerge as the right choice. Might even become apparent tonight. Number 3, a healthy Raekwon McMillan. It was this game a year ago when McMillan tore up his knee before playing a defensive snap, so just getting out there again will be an important step. McMillan is back where he was before the injury, the starting middle linebacker on a team that desperately needs him in the lineup. I expect to see him play quite a bit in the preseason. He needs the time and certainly needs to develop a level of confidence that can help carry him into the regular season. Number 4, who steps forward as the number 2 cornerback? One of the closest competitions in training camp will enter another phase tonight. Xavier Howard is a given on one side, but 4 players appear to be competing for the number 1 job on the other side. Bobby McCain, Tony Lippett, Cordray Tankersley, and Torrey McTyer. Pause. It's not going to be McCain. I know there's been a lot of talk. They've put him out there a bit. They're getting him reps out there. It is not going to be McCain. Bobby McCain is going to be our starting slot corner. I know he's even listed as a corner on the depth chart, starting corner, but that is in just a pure base defense. We're going to play a lot of nickel and dime, as do most teams, considering they pass a lot and they use a lot of 3, 4, 5 wide receiver sets and tight ends and backs split out. So he's going to be on the field a lot, and he is going to be a starting corner, but he's going to be our slot corner, bottom line, point blank, period. He's not going to play on the outside. We have Lippett, Tankersley, and Torrey McTyer has been having a great season, or preseason. One of those guys will play on the outside. It's not going to be Bobby McCain. I don't know how much I got to stress that. If it is, I'll be super surprised, and that'll mean that the other guys are not up to par playing on the outside, which is bad news, considering we should have plenty of depth at this position. But we'll see. I'm pretty confident, though, he's not going to be the outside corner. All 4 have had their turns lining up with the starters in training camp. The good news is that there are 4 viable options, which speaks well for depth. Right now, though, nobody appears to have a clear edge. 5. Ease the penalty concerns. The Dolphins have been running sprints lately because of all the pre-snap penalties. Here's hoping the players have gotten the message. I'm not convinced that just because it was an issue late last season, it will be an issue again. Having said that, there have already been too many examples this summer of the problem persisting. It's really all about concentration or a lack thereof. We need to see signs of progress, and the preseason games are usually an excellent indicator. 6. Number 1 pick, Minkah Fitzpatrick. He's had a relatively quiet training camp, but that could be good news for a rookie. I anticipate, though, that will change beginning tonight. Expect Fitzpatrick to play quite a bit at a variety of different positions in the secondary. The coaches want to see how he fits in and where he fits in. They want to see how much of this defensive playbook he has absorbed. For me, I just want to see him out there, making plays at important moments the way he did so often at Alabama. 7. One big play from tight end Mike Gesicki. Just a tease, that's all we need. Something to show us what we've already seen so often on the practice field. Gesicki going up high for a pass, fighting off a smaller defender, and making the catch. He's going to be a major factor for this offense. How early, though, depends on his preseason performance. Number 8, a young receiver stepping up. The Dolphins have a long list of quality receivers vying for what appears to be a spot as the 6th receiver. There may not be a more difficult roster decision on cut-down day, and it only figures that the preseason games will determine the outcome. Go down the list. Leonte Carroo, Isaiah Ford, Drew Morgan, Malcolm Lewis, Rashawn Scott, and Francis Owusu. All have shown us at times an ability to play on this level. Number 9, clarity at kicker. We'll probably need every bit of 3 preseason games before getting a feel for whether the job will go to 7th-round pick Jason Sanders or undrafted rookie Greg Joseph. But you never know. One strong game, maybe one pressure kick, could heavily impact the final verdict. We'll see plenty of both players in the preseason. For them, the stakes couldn't be much higher. Number 10, and finally, who will surprise us? Every preseason game, or so it seems, has a storyline that we didn't see coming. Somebody is going to be that story tonight, perhaps a player we have heard little about over the past few weeks, but 1 or 2 plays, maybe a game-deciding moment, can change all of that. A late-round draft pick, an undrafted rookie, a long-shot veteran who has bounced around the league. The thing about preseason games, you just never know. Well, you never know, as he said, and we're only a handful of hours away, so we will have some answers in a little while. And with that, I will conclude this episode, this video. I hope you guys liked it. I am going to have, I noticed there was a one-on-one with TJ McDonald yesterday, so I'm going to get that for you. And there may be a little other content too. I thought I saw something that I might be able to add on to this video as well. So I'll put that in there for you. I hope you guys like that. If you like the video, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, share it with your friends, all that stuff. And I will see you guys later. Fins up.
Jemmy here with safety TJ McDonald. TJ, another training camp for a veteran. How's it going for you on a Monday afternoon, Monday morning?
Man, it's going good. I mean, coming out here, getting to do what we love to do, getting better every day. So it feels good.
Is that the most fun for a veteran coming out? Yeah, you have to reinvent yourself every day because you want to be able to put your best stuff on tape, even though it's day 7, day 8, day 9 of training camp.
Yeah, man. You just at this point you got to pick something that you want to focus on, that you want to get better at. Try to build off that every day, and then keep trying to expand your game. So that's what we're doing every day. Not just me, but our whole group, just trying to expand our game, trying to grow as a group and individually. So that's what we're doing.
Take me back a year ago, your mindset coming into training camp, knowing you had to take, a month and a half, 2 months off, to compare it to now when you're working hard every day and you're building towards the preseason, building towards the regular season. How much more meaningful is it for you, and how much more are you looking forward to getting on the field?
I mean, you just cherish the moments that you get right now. I mean, that definitely humbles you. You cherish being able to go out there, put your work in throughout the week, but also, see the fruits of your labor on Sunday. So, definitely, it's definitely a blessing to be able to come out here and every single day I get to play football. I'm definitely thankful for that. So, and be out there with these guys and knowing the work that myself and they also, us as a team, put in, being able to come out there and watch it pay off. So, just got to keep stacking these days.
I know you're thankful when you look over, you see Rashad Jones next to you.
Yeah.
How compare that to when you see 29 and a rookie in Minkah Fitzpatrick, a guy that you guys are communicating with constantly to bring him along, and just compare the two when you're playing next to each other.
I mean, we all have great energy out there. We just try to match each other's energy. Try to get better every day. Trying to make sure that we're on the same page as far as just our looks. We're all interchangeable, so we can be able to play both free, play both strong. Minka's so versatile, and what he can do, can go down in the slot as well. So it's definitely get a work in progress. That's getting better together. So we're enjoying that process.
Well, TJ, you're having a great camp. Keep it going. Look forward to seeing you on the field for real.
All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed the interviews. I hope you enjoyed the show. And as always, if you did, please hit the subscribe button, share it with your friends, post on Facebook, whatever. Hit the like button, and definitely leave me some comments, questions, concerns, anything you'd like to see or hear in the videos, stuff like that. So definitely let me know. And of course, the most important thing is subscribe. So with that said, I'll see you guys soon, and fins up.